What's going on, everybody? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 MLB games today. We're going to be talking 3 picks. We ran up to around 90 combined likes and comments last video. So that's going to give you an additional bonus pick in this one, guys. I will be giving you 2 picks every video regardless, and then for every 50 likes and comments combined, I'll be giving you additional picks. So we were able to get 50. We're not able to quite get 100 last video. Sorry for the results last video, man. I mean, we had a full breakdown. If you go back and watch it, you can listen to my entire reasoning. 2 guys that throw strikes, don't get behind accounts, don't, rack up the pitch count, which is what we need in pitching outs. And they both had games where they were running up 7, 8 pitch at bats, not getting quick outs, which is exactly, the kryptonite of that prop. I discussed it. So unfortunately, it didn't go well, but talked about my reasoning. I'm going to do the exact same thing in this one. We got 3 pitching props for you. There will be props available on all 3 apps that I cover, guys. So make sure you take advantage in case some of these apps change or take them down. You can get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 on the Prizepicks app with the promo code KJKDFest. My link down below. So we'll talk about that app. Underdog Fantasy will give you all the way up to a $1,000 deposit bonus, massive deposit bonus over there. So take advantage on the Underdog Fantasy app. There's going to be some scoring differences on these apps, which I'll discuss throughout, but I do have that factored into my process and picks. Then last but certainly not least, we got Betr Picks. They just changed their offer back to a 100% deposit match up to $77 with my link down below. The code KJKDFS will get you a deal on all these different apps. So let's talk about it. Let's go game by game. As we always do, last thing, guys, if you do listen to the content, you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about, you want access to every single one of my plays as soon as I place them. The premium packages is going to be where it's at. That'll be linked down below. That'll get you access to my Discord. I do have 3 different tiers. Now, I went ahead and introduced a level up member package. The cheapest cost I've ever done, and the reason I did that is because I want to give people the ability that maybe don't have the money to just fork out for these upper tier packages to climb in at a very cheap price tag. You can tail 1 optimal play per day and then have my plays pay for you to upgrade. That's why I went ahead and did that, right? So you'll get 1 optimal play per day on any of the apps. Make sure you have every app. Make sure you lock in the optimal play. And then my goal is to win you enough money, or if you don't have enough money to jump in the VIP or the Platinum, you can level up. Hence the name. So let's talk about it. We'll go game by game as we always do for these plays. The first game is going to be the Miami Marlins taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. And we're going to be talking Mr. Zach Wheeler, who gets a phenomenal matchup here tonight, taking on the Miami Marlins, who stink and they strike out a ton. And Zach Wheeler's K rate has been phenomenal to start out the season. Zach Wheeler, we are looking at a 26% K rate to those lefties, a 32.6% K rate to those righties so far on this young season. Then we go ahead and we get even more detail-oriented with his swinging strike rate, his whiff percentage, all of that fun stuff. All of the above are looking real good to both sides of the plate, right? He's got a 14.7% swing strike rate to those righties, a 13.7% swing strike rate to those lefties. The whiff percentage is all the way up to a 30.4% K rate. 30.4% whiff rate versus righties and a 26.4% whiff rate versus lefties. These are all phenomenal things. Then we go ahead and we break down the matchup, right? The Miami Marlins, they are not good. They strike out a ton up and down this lineup, which is obviously good for us when we're targeting the over strikeout prop for Zach Wheeler, which is what we're going to be discussing here shortly. 25% K rate for Sanchez, 29.3% K rate for Norby, a 36.1% K rate for Stowers, a 36.6% K rate for Matt Mervis. This entire lineup up and down strikes out a ton. This is current and last season data. If we go ahead and we bring in just the current season data, not much has changed. They're striking out a bunch, right? So we want to be attacking this Miami Marlins squad, and we're getting some good value on the strikeout prop for Zach Wheeler, which we'll break down here shortly. The other thing we want to be looking at is pitch mix, right? So we go ahead, we bring up the Outlier tools here, guys. If you do not have Outlier, they'll hook you up with a 7-day free trial with my link down below. So go ahead and take advantage of that. We type in Mr. Zach Wheeler. Let's go ahead and let's look at the over 7.5 strikeouts. You're going to see the best possible place you can get this prop is on Prizepicks in a 5 or 6 pick flex at -119 odds. They're charging -129 on teasers, -134 on FanDuel, -135 on DraftKings, up to -146 on Underdog, another app here. And then we go ahead and we break down, once again, the pitch mix, right? The Miami versus the pitch arsenal of Zach Wheeler. We want to see as many high K rates as possible, right? So we break down. Wheeler goes to the fastball 40.3% of the time. You can see, look at all this red on the screen for these K rates. Not good for the hitters. Good for Zach Wheeler, though. 50% for Sanchez, 43.3% for Stowers, 36.8% for Hill, 69.2% for Mervis. And then we break down the secondary pitches. He's a sinker, slider, cutter, curveball guy. Sinker, they don't quite swing and miss quite as much on that one, though. We break out the slider. You can see then we're starting to see higher K rates again, up to a 33.3 for Hill. Cutter, same thing. I mean, overall, these guys just don't hit the baseball well. We talked about that. They strike out a ton. When you're looking at this high K rates on just a straight fastball, you got a good matchup here for Zach Wheeler. We look at their matchup ranks. You can see they're 28th in the league in K percentage. All this green on the screen indicating to us that this is a fantastic matchup for Zach Wheeler. And then we look at he's in the 85th percentile for K rate, 81st percentile for K per 9. He's not walking guys. So there's just a lot of green on our screen when we have the over 7.5 strikeouts highlighted for Zach Wheeler, which outlier makes it nice and easy for us when we're targeting the over. They're going to highlight statistics that help the over in green. When we highlight the under, they're going to highlight statistics that help the under. So all that green you're seeing are all statistics that are telling us this is a good matchup for the over 7.5 strikeouts for Mr. Zach Wheeler. And then the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, another tool that I'm using every single day. Once again, they'll hook you up with a sweet deal with the link down below. They're going to bring in all of this multi-million-dollar sportsbook data in an optimizer straight to the point. You're going to see we have a 52.97% chance to hit on the over 7.5 strikeouts here for Zach Wheeler, bringing in all of that different data where he is favored. I'll go ahead and refresh it to give us the latest and greatest data, up to a 53.21% chance to hit now the 7.5 strikeouts. So love this prop. Underdog Fantasy has already gone ahead and shifted the 7.5 strikeouts, so it's a no for me over there. But Betr also does have the 7.5 strikeouts available, so you can get this on Prizepicks, you can get this on Betr. Phenomenal prop to start off the video today. It is going to be the Zach Wheeler strikeouts. You can see the 7.5 is what we want, the standard prop. He only had 3 last time out against St. Louis. Newsflash, the St. Louis Cardinals are a much different matchup than the Miami Marlins. So this is a perfect example. These last 5 charts mean nothing, guys. You can see against Colorado, this is a good example. They're another high strikeout team. Colorado is very bad. He had 10 strikeouts. This Miami Marlins matchup is very similar to the Colorado Rockies matchup when it comes to K rate. Those are kind of the two teams you can pick on a lot in this league right now that stink and they strike out a ton. So the Zach Wheeler over 7.5 strikeouts is going to be play number 1. Once again, you can get it on Prizepicks and you can get it on Betr. Underdog Fantasy went ahead and altered the payout, so they're not giving you a full payout for this prop. So if you went over to Underdog, you're going to see that the 7.5 strikeouts is listed, but you're going to see there's a multiplier shift on it. So it is available, but not really. It's not a standard prop. Don't play it over there, okay? So the Zach Wheeler over 7.5 strikeouts to be play number 1. Love the prop. We talked about it. Fantastic matchup. Taking on this Miami Marlins squad. They strike out a ton. They stink. That makes us happy. We want to be taking advantage of it with the Zach Wheeler strikeouts. We move along here. We'll have 2 more props on the channel today that are both, once again, elite pitchers. And I'm going to be talking some fantasy score props here. We'll start things off first for our second play with Yamamoto of the LA Dodgers, who gets to take on the Texas Rangers tonight. He is a 135 favorite. He's going to be backed by this LA Dodgers offense, who's taking on Jacob deGrom tonight, who has a lot of name value, but he has not looked good in the early season. So I'll be honest, he's not scaring me too much. I think that the Dodgers can give Yamamoto some run support, which we're going to need because we're going to be targeting his fantasy score here. On the Prizepicks app today, we go ahead and we pull up the pitcher fantasy score, see where he is listed. He is listed at 34.5 fantasy score. Want to be attacking that over. Has cleared this last time against Chicago, the time previously against Detroit, and we break down the scoring format, guys. It's important to know the scoring format, obviously, of each site you're playing on. I know the scoring format. I'm going to promote this play on Prizepicks and Underdog Fantasy. The scoring format is slightly different, but it's similar. So you get 6 points for the win. The win is if a pitcher goes 5 or more innings, they departure the game with their team leading. Their team never gives up the lead the rest of the game. So let's say the Dodgers are up 1 run, right? Yamamoto comes out, but then the Rangers tie it up, and then the Dodgers come to win at the end. he won't get the win. He's got to exit with the win. The Dodgers got to keep the win the rest of the game without giving it up, without allowing the other team to tie it, and then end the game. The quality start is if he goes 6 or more innings and allows 3 earned runs or less. So an earned run, it's kind of a complex thing to some people that don't understand it. But if a fielder makes an error, right, and then the player comes around to score, it's not going to be an earned run. It'll be a run, but it's on an earned run. So it's got to be earned runs that Yamamoto actually gave up that the other team earned. It's a way that they score it. You can look it up and do some more research, but that's a simple way. And then you get 3 points for the strikeouts and 1 point for the out. So that's what we're talking about right here with Yamamoto. And once again, he's listed at 35. What did I say? 35.5 over here on Prizepicks. They do have 34.5, and they do have him listed on Underdog Fantasy as well, actually at a bit of a discount, I believe, if I remember correctly. Oh, it's at 35.5 because he's not the discount. It'll be the next play that we discuss here. But once again, it's a similar scoring format, but slightly different. So you get 5 points for the win over here, so it's 1 point less. But you get 5 for the quality start, which is 1 point more. 3 for the strikeouts, 1 for every inning pitch. It's essentially the same scoring format, just a slight tweak. But I do have him going over a sizable margin by both of these. I've got him projected for essentially 40 fantasy points here tonight. We go ahead and we break down the matchup here. Taking on the Texas Rangers. Texas, they have some power, but they do have some strikeouts as well. And Yamamoto does a pretty good job at limiting hard contact outside of to righties, but the swing strike rate's just so good that the K rate can really make up for that. And I do expect him to go 6 innings, get a lot of strikeouts, and then get some run support from his offense, which are all things we want when we're targeting the fantasy score. Guy's got a 47% K rate to lefties and a 26.7% K rate to righties. That is really, really good. Like I said, most notably, he's been struggling to right-handed bats, so we would prefer as many lefties in this lineup as possible. We look at how many lefties this Rangers lineup has. You can see Seager is a lefty. Jock Peterson is a lefty. Dustin Harris is a lefty. Jonah Heim is a lefty because he's a switch hitter. And Leotis Tavares is lefty. So we're rocking with 1 righty here in Jake Berger. We continue along. 1, 2, 3, 4 righty. So it's essentially a 50-50 split here. That's strictly just talking K rate for Yamamoto splits. But overall, guy's just been lights out. He doesn't give up a lot of hard contact. He doesn't really walk people when we're looking at last year's statistics. And like I said, I just have him projected really well here. Got him projected for 40 fantasy points. Prizepicks has him listed at 34.5. If he goes 6 or more innings, gets the 3 runs or less, his offense gives him some run support, which they're expected to tonight. Once again, he is a minus 135 favorite. He'll get that win bonus. He'll get the quality start bonus. He'll get the strikeouts. These are all things that are factored into the scoring, right? So that 34.5 fantasy score, once again, and it is available over an Underdog Fantasy at 35.5, but I would go ahead and take it over there as well, right? So I'll promote it on both apps. I've got him projected for like 40 fantasy points. He's listed at in the mid-30s. He is underpriced, in my opinion, tonight, as is the next guy that we'll discuss here in the last game, the third pick. It's going to be the San Francisco Giants taking on the LA Angels. It's going to be kind of the same, argument here. It's simple. We have a heavy favorited pitcher that's very good in Logan Webb. He's a minus 162 favorite. He's taking on the LA Angels squad tonight that only has a 3.56 implied run total. So he's expected to get the win. I do have him projected to go 6 or more innings, right? This is the guy that is listed at a discount over on Underdog Fantasy, I believe. You can see he's at 35.5 on Prizepicks. But if we go ahead and we switch it on over to Underdog Fantasy, he's at 33.5. So this is who I was talking about when I made that mistake of saying his discount. Yamamoto is 1 point higher. However, we're going to discount on Logan Webb, which is fantastic. So on the Underdog Fantasy app, you can get a nice discount on this play. Obviously, if I'm promoting him at 35.5, though, I do expect him to go out there and succeed this by a pretty wide margin. It's kind of the same thing as Yamamoto. I've got them both projected for like 4 fantasy points over, which when it comes to projections is a very big deal. And we break down this LA Angels matchup for him as well as Logan Webb's form so far on the season. Guy has been phenomenal. His K rate's been really good. Logan Webb, traditionally a guy that limits hard contact, goes deep into games, throws a lot of pitches. Now we're starting to see even more of a high K rate from him, though. I mean, this is a guy that had a 22.2% K rate versus lefties last year and 18.5% K rate versus righties, and was dominant across the board as far as the hard contact stuff. Did not give up a lot of isolated power, did not give up a lot of weighted on base average. Ground ball, fly ball stuff was phenomenal, did not walk guys. But now we're looking at a 31.1% K rate to lefties and a 25% K rate to righties. So he's gone ahead and kept that hard contact stuff down. The pitch count's still phenomenal. And he's added in more swinging strike rate stuff. So that is a great combination for him to have a really good season, especially in the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format, these daily fantasy sports props apps scoring format, I should say. You can see so far on the season for these LA Angels, they've been hitting the baseball hard, but they're still striking out a lot. So overall, you can see the weighted on base average and the ISO is high, but the strikeout rates continue to stay high. So you're factoring in the fact that they are taking on a guy that doesn't give up a lot of hard contact, and he's increasing his strikeout rate. This is going to be a good thing for Logan Webb. And then, like I said, guys, we do need him to go 6 or more innings, and we do need him to get the win to get those bonuses, all of which is expected to happen here tonight when we look at the matchup, because he is a minus 162 favorite. He's an even heavier favorite than Yamamoto, who we discussed. Zach Wheeler is a heavy favorite as well. You can pivot to his fantasy score should you need to, but I do prefer the strikeouts, I will say. That'll be the last little tidbit of a note for you guys. So Logan Webb, the over fantasy score, once again, you can play it on Underdog Fantasy, and you can play it on Prizepicks, both of which platforms I do like. You are getting a bit of a discount over on the Underdog Fantasy app, so certainly take advantage over there. But like I said, I will promote the play on both apps. I think he goes out there and gets around 40 fantasy points tonight. So I'm perfectly cool with him playing him on Underdog at the discount and or Prizepicks. It goes without saying you would prefer to get the better line. So being that he's, an entire 2 fantasy points less over on Underdog Fantasy, take advantage of your resources and lock him in over there as well. I wish that Zach Wheeler was not payout shifted on the 7.5 strikeouts over here, but he is. You can see that 0.92x. You can play his 40.5 fantasy points over there if you so choose. He is discounted 1 compared to the Prizepicks app. Like I said, slightly different scoring, but you can see that 41.5 over here. But the official plays are the Zach Wheeler strikeouts. We love that. The 7.5 strikeouts for Mr. Zach Wheeler here tonight. Okay, so take advantage of that. Expecting to rack up these strikeouts here tonight against this Miami squad. So love that play. And then, like I said, the fantasy score for Yamamoto and for Logan Webb. Yamamoto's listed at 34.5 at the time of recording. I think he crushes that line. Logan Webb, 35.5. You can get a discount over at Underdog Fantasy. I think they both crush that line. Those are going to be the 3 picks today for the MLB. Pitching props tend to be a little bit more predictable than hitting props and such, so hopefully I can hook you up with 3 winners. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If you did, would be greatly appreciated if you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you're listening along, you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Today is the last day you can get 50% off every one of my packages. I put them at 50% off through midnight tonight, I believe, to celebrate the MLB coming back. So after today, they're going to be back up to full price. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Every 50 likes and comments combined, I'm counting mine as well. I contributed to the comments last time, by the way. When I respond and stuff, I'm just looking at my analytics and seeing the comments. So it should be pretty easy to get up to 100. You could have had an additional pick for 4 picks. We're going to keep doing that. Thanks for tuning in. Wishing you all the best of luck on your MLB player props tonight, and we will see you in the next one.